Okay, so get this. We're diving into a story about a former time traveler.
A time travel,
Yeah,
yeah.
a former time traveler turned janitor who develops ghostly powers.
Wow.
Elliot and the Ghostly Awakening.
Hmm.
This deep dive is all about unpacking the rules and the limitations of his powers
Okay.
and what they might tell us about the hidden world around us.
I am intrigued. What struck me was how his powers are grounded in his past. He can only project his spirit to places he's been before.
Ah.
But there's a catch. He has a limited range.
So no teleporting to exotic islands he's only dreamed of.
Well, it's a fascinating limitation.
Okay, I'll bite.
Don't you think it suggests that his powers aren't just about breaking the laws of physics? It's tied to personal experience, memory, perhaps a deeper connection to the places we've been?
Okay, I see where you're going with this. It's not just about zipping around like a ghost.
Exactly.
It's about the significance of the places he chooses to revisit.
And the story emphasizes this further with another rule. He can't enter privately owned homes. Oh.
Unless he's invited. Public spaces, rented places, those are fair game.
So there's a respect for private residences.
Exactly. Even with extraordinary powers, there are boundaries, lines you don't cross.
Yeah.
It's a recurring theme we see, even as Elliot grapples with his abilities.
And it's not long before he realizes those abilities might come with some unexpected dangers.
Right.
That chilling encounter at the library.
That scene is so pivotal. Elliot, confident in his powers, encounters a malevolent presence.
In the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this space he loves, it completely shakes his sense of security.
Imagine feeling invisible, untouchable.
Right.
And then suddenly realizing something else is out there, something that can see you and means you harm.
It raises so many questions. If there are malevolent entities, are there benevolent ones too? What are their motivations?
Yeah.
And how do you even navigate a world where the rules are so unclear?
It's like Elliot's been thrown into the deep end of a pool he didn't even know existed. Talk about a ghostly awakening. As Elliot's journey unfolds, we start to see another layer of complexity.
Oh.
Soulmates.
Soulmates. This is where things get interesting.
Right.
Miss Clara Hayes, the history teacher at Hamilton High,
Yes.
who Elliot has a bit of a crush on.
A bit of a crush.
But it's not any ordinary crush, is it?
Not at all. Elliot sees a golden glow around Clara, something he doesn't see with anyone else. He consults with Dr. Beckett.
The paranormal investigator.
Yeah, and she suggests that this glow might signify a profound spiritual connection, a soulmate bond.
Okay, so we've got ghostly powers, a mysterious dark entity, and now soulmates.
Right.
This story's like a layer cake of intrigue.
It is.
It raises some big ethical questions.
Yeah.
He uses his powers to learn more about Clara.
That's the dilemma at the heart of their relationship. Elliot, armed with the knowledge of their potential connection,
Right.
he uses his powers to attend a field trip as an invisible chaperone.
Wow.
He learns about her passions, her fears, her dreams.
He's using these extraordinary abilities to gain insight into someone's life.
Yes.
Even if it's someone he's genuinely drawn to. Is that crossing a line?
That's a great question.
I mean,
The story doesn't give us easy answers.
yeah.
On one hand, he's drawn to her, and his powers might simply be revealing a truth that's already there.
Right.
But on the other hand, he's using information gleaned through supernatural means to build a relationship. It makes you question the authenticity of their connection.
Yeah, it's a tricky situation.
It is.
And the story doesn't shy away from exploring these gray areas.
Right.
It's not just a black and white, good versus evil narrative.
Right.
There are shades of nuance, moments where we question Elliot's choices, even as we sympathize with his motivations.
Precisely. And this complexity extends beyond Elliot's relationship with Clara.
Oh.
Remember that dark entity at the library?
Oh, yeah.
We soon discover it's Alan, the night security guard.
Alan.
The seemingly unassuming guy who turns out to be anything but.
And Dr. Beckett has a theory about him, right?
She did.
Something about tainted souls.
Yes. Dr. Beckett, with her vast knowledge of the paranormal, has been researching ancient texts. These texts describe tainted souls as individuals drawn to positions of power, but prone to corruption and criminal activity.
It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
These individuals burdened by this taint gravitate towards roles where they can exert control.
Exactly.
Where they can indulge their darker impulses.
And the story doesn't just present this as an abstract concept.
Oh.
Elliot, using his ghostly abilities, witnesses Alan engaging in a drug deal.
So it's not just about spooky encounters anymore.
No.
There are real-world consequences to this taint.
Right.
Alan isn't just a malevolent presence.
Yeah.
He's actively harming others.
And this realization raises the stakes for Elliot and the team.
Yeah.
They're not just dealing with a supernatural mystery. They're facing a genuine threat to their community, to their loved ones.
It's a reminder that even in a world where time travel and ghostly powers exist, the most dangerous threats often come from the darkness within ourselves.
But how do they combat something like that? A tainted soul.
Yeah, good question.
They can't exactly go to the police and say, this guy's soul is tainted and he's selling drugs.
Right.
They need proof, evidence they can use to expose Alan and bring him to justice.
But it's not like they can just follow him around in the physical world.
No?
You'd get suspicious. So how do they go about gathering information?
Well, that's where Elliott's powers become truly invaluable.
Wow.
He becomes their eyes and ears, their silent observer, infiltrating places they can't, gathering evidence that would be impossible to obtain otherwise.
So he's essentially a ghost detective.
He is, but it's also incredibly risky.
How so?
He can't interact with the physical world in his ghostly form.
Right.
He can observe, he can listen, but he can't intervene directly.
That must be frustrating.
It is. And what if Alan, with his connection to the dark side, somehow senses Elliot's presence?
Oh, that's a good point.
That's the constant fear. Elliott is walking a tightrope, risking exposure with every foray into Alan's world.
And all of this is happening while he's trying to navigate his feelings for Clara.
Right.
Dealing with the ethical complexities of their connection.
The story seamlessly weaves together these different threads, the supernatural, the romantic, the suspenseful.
It creates a captivating narrative.
It does.
But just as Elliot feels like he's making progress on both fronts, things take a dramatic turn.
Oh.
Dr. Beckett gets kidnapped.
Oh, no.
Driven by her determination to expose Alan, Dr. Beckett decides to tail him one night,
Oh.
hoping to catch him red-handed.
Bad idea.
But Alan, cunning as ever, realizes he's being followed and leads her straight into a trap.
Classic.
The brilliant, fearless investigator who gets a little too close to the fire. But knowing Dr. Beckett, I'm sure she put up a fight.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, she's outnumbered and outmaneuvered.
Right.
And Elliot witnesses the whole thing, powerless to intervene in his ghostly form.
That's gotta be tough.
To see someone he cares about in danger and be completely unable to help.
It speaks to the limitations of his powers,
Yeah.
even as they allow him to do extraordinary things.
It highlights the frustration, the burden of knowledge without the ability to act.
Exactly. So how does Dr. Beckett get rescued?
I don't know. How?
This is where another incredible twist comes in.
Okay.
Remember Sam, the paper boy who could hear Elliott's ghostly warnings?
Oh, yeah.
He plays a crucial role in the rescue.
Really?
He's delivering papers early one morning and spots Dr. Beckett tied up
Oh, no.
inside the house where she's being held. Without hesitation, he calls 911.
He's a brave kid.
He is, but Alan catches him.
Oh.
And this is where it gets really strange.
Okay.
As Alan chases Sam, Elliot, who's also there in his ghostly form,
Right.
starts shouting warnings, guiding him to safety.
Wait, you're telling me Sam can hear Elliot again?
It seems that their connection, whatever it may be, is still active.
Wow.
And this time, it's literally a lifesaver.
So Sam, guided by the voice of a ghost, manages to evade Alan long enough for the police to arrive.
Precisely. Talk about a wild rescue mission.
So Dr. Beckett is safe, Alan is apprehended, and all is well.
Not quite.
Oh.
They manage to arrest the homeowner, but Alan himself escapes in the chaos.
Of course he does. The villain always seems to find a way to slip through the cracks.
But at least Dr. Beckett is safe, and Sam is okay.
True, true.
And before Sam leaves police custody, Elliot whispers to him, asking him to meet at Dr. Beckett's office next Saturday.
He's officially part of the team now. This is getting good.
It is.
We've got a former time traveler with ghostly powers.
Right.
A brilliant but eccentric paranormal investigator.
Hmm.
A history teacher who might be his soulmate. And a paperboy who can hear ghosts.
Quite the team.
What's not to love?
It's a truly unique and compelling group, and their dynamic adds another layer of intrigue to the story.
Yeah, but despite this small victory,
Yes.
the story ends on a note of uncertainty.
Sure.
Alan is still out there. And the mystery of Sam's connection to Elliot's powers remains unsolved.
It does.
It's like the calm before the storm. We know there's more to come.
Definitely.
More danger, more revelations. But before we dive into that,
Okay.
let's take a moment to appreciate what we've learned so far.
Hmm.
This story is about so much more than just ghostly powers and criminal conspiracies.
Right.
It's about the power of human connection,
Yeah,
the courage to face our fears, and the enduring search for truth.
I like that.
Okay, so we're left with a bit of a cliffhanger here.
We are?
Kidnapping, a tainted soul on the loose,
Uh-huh.
and a paperboy who can hear ghosts.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. So where do we even begin?
Well, the story shifts its focus, trying to understand Sam.
Yeah, the paperboy. What makes him so unique?
Exactly. They conduct these experiments, try to replicate the conditions when he heard Elliot.
Right, when he was running from Alan.
Well, the results are inconclusive.
It's almost as if the universe is teasing us with this connection between Elliot and Sam. Like a clue, but the answer is just out of reach. Does the story give us any other hints as to why this might be happening?
Well, there are some breadcrumbs.
Okay.
If we look back, there's a pattern with Elliot's powers.
Yeah.
They're deeply personal, places he's been, memories he holds. Even entering those private homes requires an invitation.
A personal connection of sorts.
Exactly.
So you're suggesting that this need for a personal link might apply to Sam too?
It's possible it might not just be about being in the right place at the right time, but about a deeper resonance between them. A shared experience we haven't been made aware of yet.
Okay.
Something that forged a bond without them even knowing.
That makes sense.
Or maybe Sam just possesses this sensitivity to the paranormal.
Oh, like a latent ability.
And Elliot's powers acted like a catalyst.
Whoa, awaken something that was always there.
Right.
It adds another layer to these powers. They're not just tools, but forces that could ripple outwards, affecting others in ways we don't fully grasp yet.
It's a fascinating concept. But while the mystery of Sam's connection to Eliott unfolds, we can't forget about the very real threat that's still out there.
Oh yeah, Alan. The tainted soul. He might have escaped, but I have a feeling he won't stay quiet for long.
The story paints him as a force to be reckoned with, driven by this deep-seated darkness.
Yeah.
And after everything that happened, he's got a score to settle.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it. But at least our team is ready for him. We've got Elliot, Dr. Beckett, and Sam, the paperboy with the sixth sense. What a team.
It is quite the unconventional team.
It is.
But they each bring something vital.
Yeah.
And beyond their individual strengths, they share a common goal.
To understand these powers.
To protect themselves and others.
And ultimately bring Alan to justice.
Exactly. It makes you wonder what you would do if you were in their shoes. Would you try to expose Alan?
Risking his retaliation.
Or would you focus on understanding Sam's abilities, hoping to unlock the secrets of this hidden world?
It's a tough choice with huge implications.
It is. And that's the beauty of the story. It makes us think, challenges our perceptions, and leaves us wanting more.
Yeah.
It sparks our imagination.
It's like we've only scratched the surface.
Right.
Soulmates, tainted souls, and now the possibility that these powers might be more widespread than we thought. What if Elliot and Sam are just the first of many?
The story hints at a universe brimming with possibility. The lines between reality and the paranormal blurred.
Makes you look at the world around you a little differently.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, like what mysteries are hidden in plain sight. So even though we don't get all the answers,
Right.
this deep dive has been quite the journey. We've explored the ethics of power, the meaning of connection, the enduring power of hope, even in the face of darkness.
That's the power of a good story.
Yeah.
It stays with us, sparks conversations, challenges us to look beyond the surface. It reminds us that the most extraordinary adventures can start in the most ordinary places. So to our listeners, if you could explore the world unseen, what would you do? What secrets would you uncover? And what risks would you be willing to take? Let us know. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Elliot and the Ghostly Awakening. We'll be back soon with more explorations into the fascinating world of storytelling. Until then, keep those imaginations firing.